What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg Alva here.
And it's John over here.
John Bailey over here.
John Bailey, epic voice guy, voice of Honest Trailers, and does a lot more than the trailer voice.
Voice of every celebrity you know and love.
One of our reward tiers on Patreon is that whatever you want us to talk about or react to, we will definitely do it and put it up on YouTube. And today is from Andrew Hayes, the worst acted scenes in movie history from the channel Looper. I have never seen a bad acted scene in my life. So this is going to be very interesting.
He obviously hasn't watched a few movies that I know.
I think I'm the best actor ever. You can tell by my delivery right now.
Very convincing.
Very
I can
convincing.
tell you did your homework.
All the reactions are fake.
All reactions are fake. Everyone's
Fake. These are all fake views, okay, people? None of these views are real. Only the views from Fox are real, okay?
I will pay you to live here.
Cheer me up, John B.
The quality of an actor's work on screen might be a matter of opinion most of the time, but there are some performances so awful that all subjectivity goes out the window. In the case of these scenes, the acting is so over the top and bizarre that it's hard not to laugh at them even years after the fact.
It's like early version of Knock Knock.
Talk about sucking. Just about everyone involved in the adaptation of Stephenie Meyer's Vampire Romance could be accused of phoning it in. But Twilight's MVP, Kristen Stewart, takes top honors for worst performance in the movie's climactic scene. It all starts when a trio of nomadic vamps lurk around looking for something to eat when they stumble across the Cullen clan playing baseball while their protected human pet watches on. A standoff ensues and almost ends peacefully, before James catches a whiff of Bella and gets the munchies. You brought a snack. The situation is diffused, but not done. James, the tracker vampire, vows to hunt her down and eat her. Despite the Cullens'
just
best
watching
ever
him
start,
talking about this
he
movie.
moves her away from the Cullens and savagely snaps her leg. Bella's sparkly vampire boyfriend Edward arrives to save her from sudden death, but James still manages to sink his teeth into her arm. The venom from his bite starts to spread through her veins right away, which is when she informed everyone. In Meyer's book, the pain is described as, quote, exquisite. But watching Stewart's grunting and grimacing in the moment makes those tiny teeth marks look anything but.
Well, she humps the floor.
Richard Linklater's coming-of-age classic Dazed and Confused
there he is,
gave us the gift of
That's just pre-Oscar voice back when he used to talk like this.
But it's also responsible for the unbearable nuisance of Mitch Kramer. The Good Refreshment is a categorical case study in social awkwardness, so there's some lack of screen savvy to be expected from his portrayal. But in the scene where he's trying to flirt with Sabrina outside the Emporium, it's full tilt amateur hour. Instead of coming out with traditional acting devices like facial expressions, vocal inflection, or pure presence, actor Wiley Wiggins relied on 8 cringeworthy nose grabs.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
I watched that for the first time not too long ago, and I was like, what is he doing? He's worse than Shane from Walking Dead. Like the head rub.
Yeah.
It's like every 5 seconds.
Linklater eventually accepted responsibility for letting this bad slip through the editing cracks, telling the Daily Beast, I just thought the nose grab was kind of an awkward gesture. I'm the director, so it's on me.
At least he took responsibility for it.
The third time you watch it, I just thought it was that young, awkward man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it was one or two. Only one or two guys. We're good.
6 is the
Luckily, he did about 50 of them, so.
got options.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did. All right.
Considering G
Love this movie.
whose 6% Rotten Tomatoes score is probably a little generous, there are a lot of awful aspects to choose from.
You know something? You're right. It is sadness. It's sadness, and I'm sad.
The stupidity of this thing extends all the way up to the title
That's Batman.
itself. So it's a tall order to pick just one.
Yeah, that's our Batman, guys. You guys still mad that he's quitting, or?
The box office star.
I think
It makes
Pacino
sense
does
to
an okay
focus on
job.
the scene that tried and failed miserably.
It's like, gotta go.
Sexy dialogue.
So, we're gonna sit here
Plays
and
a
talk.
lesbian named Ricky, who decides to make Ben Affleck's hitman her boy toy and invites him into her bed, like so.
It's turkey time.
Oh.
Huh?
Huh?
No one
That's
says
why everyone
that.
watching this
That's,
movie
that's
did
why
this.
it's funny.
The turkey talk is an evergreen highlight.
I like it better when they use those lines in Thanksgiving, though.
Even though
It's a lot funnier when a talking, murdering turkey
The Empty Box.
is saying
With all due
it's
respect
turkey
to Brad
time.
Pitt, his performance in Seven is a classic.
What's
case
in the
of
box?
completely missing the emotional mark of an important movie moment.
I don't think that's one of the worst
No, I think that's a.
I thought it was
a really
pretty
good job.
I mean, the guy's wife's head was just cut off.
He's in shock.
And he's, like, losing
Mystery
it.
Giants, directed David Fincher, and actors Kevin Spacey and Morgan
And then he
Freeman.
starred in like
While he
4
was
more
still
Fincher
something of a
movies.
Hollywood
Right?
star at
Yeah.
the time. But compared to everyone else's delivery in the rap scene, his contribution is pretty inexcusable. In the grand finale of John
I like the
Donne's Sins-inspired plan,
I like the
Kevin
original
Spacey's
ending for
killer
that movie
character
better
links the
than what they
detective
ended up
duo
with. Have you
acting
ever heard of
opposite to find a
The
pattern
original
of
ending,
something.
Freeman turns to
Freeman's
Spacey
character
and
gets
shoots him.
the
He says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm retiring." He takes so Brad Pitt can live his
We're
life.
led to believe it's the head of Mill's pregnant wife Tracy.
He's already
an
been through
innocent
enough, so he,
and
like,
lovely
takes
lady
one.
Who has nothing to do with any of this mess, but we never get to see the contents. The tension is staggering until Pitt starts screaming his lines and jumping around like a carnival clown.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
It's a scene ruiner upon rewatching it.
No, it's
Looking back
not.
on
Sorry,
the
I disagree with him, man.
Yeah.
that was actually hidden in the box. Those bloody wolves.
It
Now
was
that's
balls.
bad.
If Keanu Reeves could
His
take a
balls.
Bill and Ted style journey back in time, we hope he'd at least consider returning to the early 90s and undoing everything he did in the
And doing everything he did in the early 90s. That's funny.
Because his British accent is so
Oh,
horrible.
Look,
God.
it's Emperor Palpatine.
From fixating on Gary Oldman's giant butt wig, which is what it
No,
was.
no, no.
Reeves' character starts to realize that the count is bad news.
I love his hair. It's like,
Mr. Burns.
I've seen many strange things already. Bloody wolves chasing me through some blue inferno.
Even director Francis
Wow.
What just happened?
Ford, who's practically president of the Keanu Reeves fan club, had to admit to Entertainment Weekly it was tough for him to affect an English accent. He tried so hard. That was the problem, actually. He wanted to do it perfectly, and in trying to do it perfectly, it came off as stilted. In
Yeah,
other
or
words,
sucky is another word.
Everything. Even my mind. I was impotent with fear.
The fun.
Aw, poor Keanu.
Presents two major movie
That's
moments
alright.
depicting
Came back
sons
with John
rejecting
Wick.
their stodgy old dad's wishes for them to follow in their footsteps.
October
And
Scott.
one of those things was not like the other. Jake Gyllenhaal's breakthrough performance as Homer Hickman in October Sky features him standing up to the status quo of going to the mine shaft after school with his dad. Instead, he literally reaches for the sky as a wannabe space cadet who built rockets on the sly. It builds to a poignant moment of father-son friction that totally resonates the way it should.
Now I want you in here stroking your rocket, son.
Not mine.
3 hours later.
Compare that to James Van Der Beek's showdown with his own pop in Varsity Blues, which hit theaters a few weeks before. In the movie, Van Der Beek plays a backup
I thought
high school
John Boyd was
quarterback
fantastic,
named
though.
Yeah.
Mox, who's hiked his way to the starting squad.
I saw this
after
movie when I was like
injury takes
6
out
in the
team's
theaters with my
original star.
family.
Somehow,
Yeah.
this ignites
It's a good-
some long-held
it's a good
dream
family
of
film.
status
It's a good
for Mox
movie.
to become the star player. But Mox has no such ambitions and tells him as much in the most exaggerated and terrible accent imaginable.
Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
It's hard to tell whether.
Well, see, I can't tell now if they're just talking about worst acting moments or worst accents.
Such a dud, but he gets no points for that scene. Green Boblin. James
Green Boblin?
I think Franco was pretty bad in these movies.
Yeah, he was.
The go-to source for some of his most
But to
accidental
be fair, though,
embarrassing
it was
acting
Spider-Man
moments.
3.
His character
The whole movie sucks.
Spider-Man 2 is not that good
It's
in
not that
either.
great in Spider-Man 2 either, but, I mean, Spider-Man 3 is just terrible anyway.
And when he lifts the mask,
So
to
it fits
reveal
in with
Spidey's
Tobey
identity,
Maguire's
Yeah.
performance.
Peter Parker
Everybody's
is the
performance.
worst enemy.
Stanley was the only good part of that one. That cameo.
Can't be.
Franco's
not
slack jaw
that
gait,
unbelievable.
awkward footwork is only exceeded in badness by his whispered threats about getting payback.
If only I could cause you the pain that you've caused me.
The whole thing adds up to a scene more cartoonish than the comics it was based on. Rain, rain, go away. Andy McDowell never quite lived up to the promise she displayed in movies from the late 80s and early 90s. Maybe it was because of her written performance in Four Weddings and a Funeral.
What?
I don't usually skulk.
No, I don't really
but
like her
suppose
in
I
that,
could
that's
skulk if skulking were required.
Although the film is otherwise moderately charming, there's one scene that tends to ruin it on every re-watch. At the end of the movie, in the pouring rain, Hugh Grant delivers one of those classic sappy, "It was you all along" speeches to McDowell, but his monologue is interrupted by one very pointless observation.
Is it still raining? I hadn't noticed.
Oh, wow, that is
There's
terrible.
emotion from
Yeah,
McDowell
you
that it's
noticed.
almost as if
Wow.
she were the funeral featured in the film's title. Thanks for watching.
Ouch.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.
You're like an Andy McDowell to a funeral.
I'll tell you one of my favorite worst moments was in The Mummy when she's like, "Take that, Pembridge scholars." I was just like,
Oh, Richard
why
Weiss.
don't you
Yeah,
just
Weiss,
cut that all
yeah.
together?
I just
It's
heard it in my
so-
head when you said that.
It's just nails on a chalkboard for me every time.
You know who I can't stand? There's an actor who I just can't stand, who I think all his performances should be on this list. And it's not.
It's just all his.
It's all his work. It's all body of work. Worst acting scenes in this. I can't stand the actor. I always forget his last name. Is it Peter Sarsgaard?
Peter Stars.
Oh yeah,
He's always
okay.
like sleepy. He's
But
in
not-
Flight
Yeah.
Plan.
But not in a good Mark Ruffalo way, where it's all charming, sleepy.
To be fair though, I thought he did okay, despite how bad the movie was. I thought he did okay in Green Lantern.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, considering how bad the rest of the movie was, he played a good crazy person. I thought so.
Yeah.
That's one of the few times where I thought he did okay.
Opinions are objective. I want you to know this. I get surprised when studios or TV shows don't recast when someone is evidently terrible.
Yeah.
Because in Twilight, Kristen Stewart is easily the worst one out of everyone who's already bad. But
She looks really uncomfortable.
She
throughout
She
all those
really looks like
movies.
she doesn't want to be there. It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of like Finn Jones in Iron Fist. Like, why do you still
Yeah.
keep him around even though no one seems to like the guy at all? And I kind of feel that you could have done that with Kristen Stewart.
You're locked in at that point, and probably the movie
That's what
made
I was
too
thinking,
much
yeah.
money. Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if they caught it early on enough and she wasn't somebody where they could. I mean,
Like
she,
Marty McFly situation.
You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. It could be like in the freaking contract where they're just kind of stuck with them, or it may just be one of those things where because they don't film it in order, they don't, maybe because until it's finished and edited, you don't really realize how bad it is.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
that.
Who's the director of that?
Oh, the woman who did 13.
Not gonna work here anymore. No. It's a nice Office reference for you folks.
Catherine Hardwicke.
Yeah, there you go. Not one of the great female directors of the modern era right now.
Hey, maybe she'll come out
Because
with
she's a
13
woman with a
too.
small brain.
Yeah.
Brain half the size of... No, I'm kidding.
It's science.
That's my favorite joke to mess with my wife with all the Ron Burgundy comments about women.
I never noticed this in Dazed and Confused.
Oh, I did.
When he does
Oh
that
man!
switch.
When I watched that, I was like, "What is really? Is your nose not going to stay on, or
I never
keep putting
noticed
it
that.
back up there?"
I don't know. It's just like a nervous teenager tick. I guess.
but I mean, okay,
It's
we
a-
were all nervous teenage boys at one point. Have you ever done this like 7 times in a row?
Well, it does enhance the scene with painful awkwardness. It does. Make
Yeah, it does make it painfully awkward. That is for sure.
Maybe his acting teacher was
Cinematically
like, "You need a
awkward.
tick. You need a tick. We're
Yeah,
gonna
pick
give you-"
one part of your face to keep touching.
Yeah, and then he based his whole character around this tick.
I'm
that
the
he
nose
has,
guy.
You
I'm the
know,
nose guy.
he would do this to get into character.
Yeah, see, I was always like just wiping my hands off of my pants because my palms would get sweaty.
Yeah.
That would have
Yeah.
been, at least that one wouldn't have been quite so in your face as like, let's cover my entire face with my hands multiple times. Oh, guys, seriously, I can't do this reaction anymore.
I think it's fascinating that Richard Linklater took responsibility for that though.
Yeah, usually you don't see the director be like, yep, I screwed up, my fault.
It's refreshing. It's not. He seems like the kind of guy who would do that too. He seems like the kind of director who would be just upfront about
Because he wasn't like, oh, we couldn't work around it. He thought it was a good thing at first.
Or just, or just ignoring the question altogether. Like, nope, not answering that
Aw.
question. I don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't look like anything to me.
Ah, Geely.
Geely, man.
Woo.
I've
Gobble,
sat
gobble.
through Geely.
Really? What was
Yeah.
that like?
I have.
Why?
I
Why
have
did you do
to.
that?
It's
Well,
kind
I have an excuse. My wife made me.
So she's the one who likes
She's the
this
one.
movie.
I had to see how terrible it was. And what's really surprising about it is it's really boring.
Yeah, it is.
That's the sad part about it. If it was like entertaining bad, I could have settled for that.
I enjoy bad movies.
Yeah.
Not badly. They're badly, okay.
Bad,
Big
I like
badly movies.
bad movies that are bad in a funny way they're tolerable at least, but bad movies that are boring and just not good.
Because this movie takes itself seriously. Like Al Pacino gives one of his longest monologues ever in that one scene he has. And he's really committed too. It's awesome how much Ben Affleck has changed his career. But the scene in 7 though, man, I
don't agree with that one.
I don't either.
I'm so surprised it's on this list.
I feel like that's one of those debate ones because I
Yeah.
feel like I've heard this before, and just some people agree and some.
I
people
guess
don't.
unless your wife's head's in a box, you really
Yeah.
don't know how you would react. So
If
why don't
my
you back
wife's head
off?
was in a box,
Brad
I
Pitt
wouldn't
would have
do
acted that way if his wife's head is in a box.
I had been in that situation, I know what I would have done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel
and
like-
I would have acted better.
Yeah.
If it's been my wife's head that got cut off.
I would have
I would've been
mindful
way
of my
cooler.
mark, and I would have
Yeah.
shit in my face.
I'd be like, so your mom's head's in a box. What?
I think the guy's losing his shit.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of it, and he sounds
And
like
maybe
he's losing
he
his
just
shit.
exactly. Maybe acting badly was him losing
Yeah.
his mind, you know? I mean, jeez, I feel for him.
Because I've never seen Brad Pitt behave like that.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of hysterical in that
Exactly.
shot.
You,
Yeah.
I mean, you lost all the reality of what just happened is setting
Yeah.
in.
Well, yeah,
and you're
there's-
like, this can't really be happening,
Yeah.
but you're still trying to be a cop at the same. Like, he sees all kinds of
we
messed up.
we all three of us
That's
can, like,
like-
we can feel what he's doing.
Well,
Yeah.
there's like a Schrodinger's severed head in this. Thing.
Exactly.
Watching him
Like,
go,
you have no
that's
idea."
probably my wife, but maybe
Yeah.
it's not
And
what
he,
I.
he doesn't want to believe it. He's angry. He's sad. He's got a lot going on in that
I mean,
scene.
it could have been way worse than what our imaginations even thought. It could have been like,
Yeah.
it could have been like parts of her, or it could have been just her internal organs. Jeez, it could have been so
all
much
of her
worse.
face.
What are people looking for there? Subtlety? Like,
Or there could have just been a hot dog in the box. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like Pulp Fiction.
That would have been
We
the
never know.
greatest twist. A golden hot, glowing hot dog. Yeah. Oh, Keanu Reeves and
Keanu
Dracula.
Reeves.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they just narrowed it down to one performance.
Yeah, right. He says
Wow.
it's a whole plethora full of bad
That looks
performances.
especially bad though for Keanu Reeves.
That Francis Ford Coppola quote was quite interesting, actually, because I thought that when I was actually watching it, maybe he was so concerned with trying to do the voice that he become. Keanu Reeves already in the early '90s was a
Yep.
pretty stiff actor.
I mean, I
He's
kind
a-
of feel
he's a
like that
better actor
statement,
now.
though, is kind
He's
of
a
just
better
him
actor.
generally, because I feel like he really does want to be a good actor. I think he tries. I think he's had lots and lots of coaching and acting classes. I think he's just not good at some things.
He's
And I
not.
think when he finally just embraces that he is the surfer dude and starts making those movies, he'll be much better because that's who he is. He needs to stick to who he is. I just, you know.
He's good at like the quieter body language roles. Like,
I've been saying for a long time, a lot of people are in love with John Wick. I was one of the people who didn't love it. I liked it. I thought it was a lot of cool gun fu to watch.
Yeah.
But as far as him as an actor, I think him not saying anything would have made a cooler movie than
It would have.
If he had not have talked at all.
John
maybe
Wick-
one or two lines, maybe, but not just no Keanu's. Just look good and don't say crap. Just keep your mouth
in
shut.
John Wick 2, when he talks more, I would get pulled out.
Exactly.
Because I'm like,
That's
I
my
don't really,
point.
I don't really believe
Because
it.
all of a sudden you don't believe that he's this awesome badass. You're like, oh, this is just Keanu Reeves acting again.
Yes.
Because he just sounds tired.
He
throughout
does.
that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think it's because of exactly what he said. I think he tries way too hard.
Tries too hard.
I believe that.
Although in Knock Knock, he's surprisingly not bad.
He also had one of my what I think is one of the worst lines ever delivered, where when he has to when he's in the Matrix and he's like, "What do you need?" He's like, "Guns, lots of guns," and then he just goes, "Oh, Keanu, just no, just don't say anything at all. Just
I'm never surprised by any of this crazy shit going on.
I know that's what it looks like, but it's not."
James Vanderbeek.
James Vanderbeek. Is that a bad accent he's doing? Doesn't sound too
I'm
terrible.
from the South, and it's not that bad, but you can feel him kind of slipping in and out. Again, I don't feel like this is worst acting. I think we're getting into worst accents in
Yeah.
movies now. Because I don't think that was necessarily a badly acted moment. He obviously was not great with the accent. But if you want to talk about bad accents, poor Chris Hemsworth tries so hard to all these other accents that are not natural to him, and they just come across as really, really weird and bad.
I think Liam Neeson's pretty bad at
Yeah,
accents.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler, though.
Gerard
I cannot do another accent to save his life. I get so much sound like work for Gerard Butler trying to do an American accent. That's what he's trying to do. And he's trying to be American, but it's not working.
He always talks like the right side of his
Exactly. He's got the Drew Barrymore problem going.
The ugly truth.
So I've been working on the Geosphere?
Geostorm.
Geostorm. Yeah, I've been doing that. He's doing another American character. I'm like, oh, goody. Here we go again.
I am a law-abiding citizen.
Exactly. Keeps steadily slipping into his natural accent. We're going to protect the world, and this is Sparta! The storms will never take us!
I did see this movie when I was like 6 years old with my family. It's not a comfortable, like, you have children. Would you watch this with your children?
Sure, when my son's old enough to talk about the birds and the bees, we'll give him a... we'll let him
Would
look
you watch
at
this
the,
with your now child?
No, I'm afraid my 11 and 9-year-olds are not old enough to watch this one.
Man.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a pretty good movie.
It's a good movie.
Because so many of the movies out there have been, at least that genre of movie.
Like football,
It was so cut and paper,
This one has personality.
cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And this one has a little bit of something that you weren't expecting. Like, let's go out
Ready
there
Whip.
for 5 minutes and be gods on that field.
And it's R-rated too.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So
the other ones are like PG or PG-13.
yeah,
So,
this was a good like coming of age teen date movie. Like my wife and I were dating when this movie came out.
Aww.
So yeah, that's
Did she do
that's a good
the,
one.
you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, no, we haven't never done that. We're both of us are like, not messes. I don't want to. It's sexy while we're doing things, but then cleaning up afterwards is not cool.
I did it with maple.
There's already enough white cream everywhere.
Mic drop! Boom! See if YouTube demonetizes the video
there you go.
off of
always cut
references
this
without
one.
being clear cut. Oh, James
My
Franco.
man Franco.
Franco, I
Franks.
love because when he doesn't love a project he agreed to be a part of, he lets it be
can
known.
tell.
Yeah, because he can be amazing in a movie. He can be amazing if he really cares about the movie.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, he's like, all right, I'm gonna intentionally do a bad job.
I'm gonna overact and pop my eyebrows and do all kinds of stuff.
Because I never wanted to see a James Franco movie because my introduction to him wasn't Freaks and Geeks, it was Spider-Man. And I didn't like him in any of the Spider-Man movies.
Oh yeah, that would suck if that was your first Franco movie. But then you would be like, I'm not gonna watch this movie with Franco.
Yeah.
He's actually really good. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, then I'll watch
But I
like
mean,
127 Hours or
Yeah.
even Spring Breakers. I'm even like, that's an annoying movie to me, but I still think he does a good job for what the movie is. So I'm like, I think James Franco's a really good actor when he cares about the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
And when it's the right role.
He was great in Spider-Man 1 as just playing, the best friend in love with his girl that he's in love with. Spider-Man 2 is actually a great film. In fact, it's one of the best
one of the best
superhero
superhero
comic
movies
book
ever.
movies ever made still.
I agree.
But Franco just started seeing where his character was going and didn't like it. All of Spider-Man 3 was bad, and I think because he already could tell that, he's like, I'll just fit right in. I'm not going to stand up and be the good actor in this movie. When you've got
Andy McDowell, rowdy Andy McDowell.
My experience with this movie, I had seen Notting Hill, I had seen Love Actually, and I was like, I want to see the origin, like their big first movie with
Origin
Hugh Grant.
story.
I wanted to see the beginning.
the romance origin.
The romance origin. The
Where did
cinematic
love
origin.
come from?
This summer, discover where love comes from.
Darren Aronofsky.
Romance. Chink.
And then I watched this and I couldn't stand it because of her performance.
I mean, of all of the scenes of the movie, too, to the
finale
final
scene.
scene,
Yeah.
the big romantic in the rain,
Is it
and
still
then
raining?
is it still raining?
I
I totally didn't notice
notice.
anymore because I'm wet.
Oh.
Like it's just,
know.
jeez.
All right. Well,
All
Looper,
right.
thanks for the list. Got a
Yeah.
question for you, Rejects. What are some of your favorite worst acted scenes? That's a weird question.
Or favorite worst accents.
Or least favorite, best, worst.
Yeah,
things.
what are the least worst
What do you
but
not-
still not good?
What do you not like in this world? Put it in the comment box. That's what they're for these
Get
days.
some negative comments.
Let's
Yeah,
get some
where's all the
comments.
negative
Where's all
comments
the
for me
negative
to read,
comments? You get
guys?
too much love in the
I
comment
drove
box.
10 whole minutes to get here to read your negative comments, and you guys didn't leave any.
Well, subscribe to The Real Rejects with a hate comment. Click that notification bell. Datch on Humphrey on Twitter and Instagram. Patreon, become a Patronaject today. Andrew Hayes, thanks for requesting this video. And there's no need to promote you, John Bailey.
Everybody knows.
John Bailey, epic voice guy, his YouTube channel, solo channel. He does riff reactions as well. He does
Yep.
a lot of his own content.
Review movies and all
Honest
those things.
Trailers voice guy, y'all know that already. This guy is really friendly and personable, and he's funny.
Cuddly.
Love this guy.
I'm gonna add
Personable.
that. When I do this, I'm gonna
Relatable.
be like, Greg always says, personable.
Personable.
In quotes.
the trailer for Your Life comes out.
I want you to just snap one day and only be in that voice.
Just go full on down the hole.
Yeah.